Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our Half Acre Homestead, and today I'm going to show you how I built a composting garden tower. Now this is a 45-gallon drum that Papa got from work. All they held was a biodegradable degreaser or soap. Here's the sticker that was on the side of the barrel, certified biodegradable. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the top of my barrel, and I'm going to go from one side. Well, there's actually a seam here, so this, if we measure this from along the seam, now we want the inside edge of the rim. We're going to be leaving this rim on and parts so that we can stabilize our inner composter. 22 inches. So I'm going to mark this right here, from here to here, just so I can get the center point. Right from that mark to that mark is 22.5 inches. So now we come across the center and we go until it says 22.5 inches, and then we know we've hit center. There it is, right there. Now we're going to flip this over. Oh, ouch. And we're going to do the same on the bottom. I've just got a piece of siding edging here. And just so that you can see, we're going to do our mark across here. And our mark across here. And that should give us center on the bottom. Here I have a coffee can. And here we go. My Sharpie, that's wet. But there we go. That's what the bottom's supposed to look like, and now we're going to do the top. But we're going to do something different with the top. Okay, so all I've done here is I've measured between these two holes, and I found the center, and then I've went from my mark to my mark. So this gives us a rough idea of center. If I'm wrong, trust me, Papa will correct me. Now when we go to cut these out, because our PVC pipe is going to be 6 inches, wow, that does not look centered at all, does it? But that's okay. The only one that really matters is the top one, because then we can put the pipe down through. Most people cut the top right out, and then they have a problem of stabilizing the center composter pipe. But what I'm going to do is we're going to leave the lid on. We're just going to cut out sections. Okay, so here's our rough in pieces. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these lines here. All I'm going to do is these parts I'm leaving in, because these parts are what is going to stabilize my center pipe. Now what I'm going to do here is there's a seam here. Using that as center, we're going to mark down all the way down our barrel. Starting, can you see that? And starting, so here's where our first pocket is going to be. I had it too close to the top here. Can you see what I'm doing even? I can't tell, like the sun's on the glare here. So, we're going to go from there on that line, and we're going to go 6 inches from the center of that dot to the 6-inch line, and we're going to make a mark. And how far down have we come? There's our mark down. So from here, we're going to go over 6 inches to here, and we're going to go down to where our dot is. I'm not measuring anything, folks. And we're going to go down. Let's do our over to 6 inches, roughly. And we're going to go down to here. And we're going to do a line. Look, I mean, folks, you don't even have to really measure. The only thing you want to make sure you have is here is our parts we're not going to cut. So we just want to go down and go like that. And that's roughly where our next inset cut's going to be. Okay, so here I've turned it upside down, and I'm just going to continue. It doesn't have to be perfect, folks. You just want roughly the same measurement in between the top and bottom of your pockets, and roughly the same measurement in between from pocket to pocket. But your pocket has to be big enough that we're going to be able to slip a 2x4 in there. Okay, so now I'm cutting the top out. All right, I'm going to leave this because I actually need a 4-inch circle, and Papa has to find the cap that we bought for our pipe. But what I'm doing is I'm following the outline, and I was using a metal blade, which is good for this plastic, except it's not long enough. And when it came time to cut around the edge, this lip got in my way, so I had to exchange it for a longer blade. But I'm going to go up. Now, if you'll notice that cutting here was a lot slower than cutting here. That's because this is much, much thicker. This is almost a 1/2 inch thick, where this is only like an 1/8. Okay, while my saw cools down, I'm going to use this. This is going to be the cap for the bottom. And this, I'm going to use the inside of this as my cut mark. Just like that. It looks off center, but that's because I cut in here too far and I want to make sure that I have enough room. Now before I cut any more of this out, I'm noticing the stability in the center is off. So I'm going to do that now to give it, while it's more stable. Even though I use the inside of the ring as the marker, I'm going to cut on the inside of this because we can always trim it off. And Bob, your uncle, there is the hole for our pipe.
That should go in it.
That should fit in it? Okay, so we want to trim this just a little bit more. Now let's see. That'll fit. Let's start getting our slits cut. We're going to put a hole in each side, and this serves two purposes. This serves two purposes. Okay? This serves the purpose of being able to fit our jigsaw blade in the hole, but it also gives room for expansion when we melt and bend these open. Okay, now that I sort of know what I'm doing, I'm going to show you. It's taken me a few tries to figure this out, but now that I have my slits cut with a hole in each end, I'm just going to take my saw and I'm going to go up. Just about an inch. And then I'm going to go back in the hole and I'm going to go down about an inch. Whoops. And then I'm going to do the same to the other side. Okay, so now that one of my others is cooled, that's why I have this 2x4 cut in half, because you want your 2x4 cut at this angle so that we can use it to push in this slot. Now, the plastic has to be hot, folks. So that's why we're using a heat gun. If you don't have a heat gun, I got this for $5 at a yard sale this last weekend. So, I mean, it works for me. And we're just going to heat up where we've cut. I saved you all my mistakes, folks. And it only takes, you know, it does not take long because this is really, really hot. And it doesn't take long for this plastic to heat up. We're not melting it, we're just making it malleable. And you're going to do that by trial and error. You're going to take your slanted 2x4 and you're going to push it through here like that. And then you're going to let the 2x4 do the work. Just like that. And you're going to rest it in there until it cools. What this does is when this cools, we will have a pocket to plant in and then a shelf above it to stop any more dirt erosion or to hold the dirt up from above for the plants above. Okay, so now all our pockets are done and it's taken a couple of days. This is not a project that can be done fast, folks. But if done properly, it will last you a very long time. Now here's where the composter is going to come out the bottom, but here is where our drain is. We still need a drain, but I want to put a piece of wire screen in here to keep the worms from escaping and also so that I can have some drainage. Okay, so what I've got here is just some wire screen. I recommend, if you have it, to use wire screen for the simple reason is it will last longer. And I'm going to measure and make sure it will cover the hole here. I'm actually going to turn this around a little bit so I can get my arm in here. Yes, that's going to fit just nice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it over top and I'm just going to take some exterior silicone caulk, if there's any left in this, and I'm just going to run a bead around this because once the dirt's in place, this will hold itself in, you know, it'll hold the screen in place, but we want to make sure that it doesn't shift and whatnot. So now I'm just putting my hand in under here, and as you can see, way down there is my screen. Okay, and I'm just going to gently, I used too much caulk, but I'm just gently going to tap this into place so that the screen kind of adheres and the caulk goes all the way through both layers of screen. And when this dries, this will be our drain hole. Okay, so what this is this is going to be our composter pipe. And it is a piece of 4-inch PVC pipe that it has holes in it for a weeping tile. Now, what I've done is because there's only a couple of rows of these holes, I have drilled more. And this is to allow the worms, we're going to put our compost in here, and the worms are going to go in and out of the holes to aerate the soil in the barrel. And it's going to be capped off at the top so I can add compost, and it's going to be capped off at the bottom so that I can undo it and take compost out. Okay, so what Papa is doing now is he's putting our composting pipe or shaft in. And what he's done is he's put a couple of screws in the pipe and then inserted the pipe through the top and brought to the bottom so that it can't be pulled out this way. And now he's locking it into place with some screws on the top of the pipe. And this is the bottom. Now show them how this works, Howie.
Unless I get a screw in it.
So this goes over the pipe. Can you take it apart in 2 pieces?
Just a second.
Okay. Drop it. Give me that. Okay, so how this works. Is this is the outlet for our compost. Why are you doing that?
This piece won't fall out of the collar.
Okay, so this is actually 2 pieces, which I tried to show you. But now all we have here is a screw cap that will go on the bottom. This little cap will screw into the bottom, and when we want to remove the compost, we'll just unscrew the cap and push it out through the top. And then we'll put the cap back on and start our compost again. Okay, folks, so Papa has it up on firewood. And here's our composter, and we'll put all our stuff in here for worms and compost material. And under there is where we will take the composted material out. Anyway, so this is it. And there it is. We're going to plant beans in here. And this is the Miss Wolfie from... Hi, Nat. Hi, Mara. This is the Miss Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying, it only took me a week and a half to build it and about an hour and a half for Papa to finish it. But from here on out, hopefully it is a permanent part of our garden. No bending, no weeding. Yay! Take care, God bless.